And this is an Iraq Initiative event. It is on record, so feel free to tweet, quote our excellent guest, and enjoy the event. We look forward to a timely, great conversation with our guest. And we will carry this live, and you are welcome if you are not here and you are watching us, you are also welcome to tweet using the hashtag ACIraq. And this is to the Middle East Center here, AC Mid East. Here is the format. Sarkawt will give his brief remarks after I finish here. And then I will ask him some questions. Then we open it to the audience for questions. So that's how we are going to proceed today. Our esteemed guest, Sarkawt Shamsulddin, is a member of the Iraqi Council of Representatives. He is a member of the Future Parliamentary Group, Deputy Chairman of the Civil Society Committee, a very important committee in the Iraqi Parliament. And he is a member of the Iraq-United States Friendship Committee. He was a co-founder of the New Generation Movement, and he previously worked in Washington as the bureau chief for NRT News TV. He also worked for the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad as a political and cultural advisor. Sarkawt holds a master's degree in public policy from Virginia Tech University. So without further ado, it's my pleasure and honor to introduce my good friend, the Honorable Sarkawt Shamsulddin. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Abbas. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am honored to be here with you today to discuss the current state of affairs in Iraq. Thank you to Dr. Abbas and Stefani for putting this event together. We are actually proud of Dr. Abbas for all of amazing work he's doing here in Washington, also in Baghdad. Recently, he was in Baghdad and helping the Ministry of Foreign Affairs interviewing the new ambassadors, appointed ambassadors to Iraq. And thanks for the Atlantic Council in general for the event and also for inviting me. I'm happy to share some of my observations about the recent improvements and progress in Iraq. While we are here as Iraqi and Kurdish politicians, terrorism and violence will not be the main focus of discussion today, which is remarkable. This doesn't mean that there is no threat from terrorism in Iraq, including Kurdistan region. Terrorism is a global threat, and no one is safe from it, as we recently saw in El Paso, in Washington, in United States even. In some ways that we have been able to accomplish in this regard is a marker for what is possible when we work together in true partnership with U.S. We sincerely appreciate U.S. military incredible support since 2014 and before for Iraqi security forces and Peshmerga. The fact remains that the U.S.-led coalition's missions in Iraq and Syria against terrorism has yet to be fully completed, but significant progress has been made. I believe the military partnership between Iraq and the U.S. is the only element of the relationship that is truly working between our two nations. We as Iraqis, again, both at the federal level and in Kurdistan region, do not feel that the relationship between the U.S. and Iraq is functioning diplomatically and economically as a kind of the true partnership envisioned by the Strategic Framework Agreement. We are sometimes surprised by Washington's decision about our country or about issues in which we are involved. Economically, Iraq desperately needs to increase foreign investment, and the U.S. should be the first to seize that opportunity. Iraq needs over $90 billion to rebuild its liberated areas. This cannot be done only by us alone. We need your support in the form of investment or loans that go beyond pledges that are only sometimes realized. When it comes to Iran, and U.S. tensions, which we will be discussing most of our times here. We are caught in the middle at a critical time when our country requires international cooperation, not regional conflict. We expect and demand that both countries refrain using Iraq as a battlefield. Both countries are very important to us. The U.S. spent more than $3 trillion and sacrificed the lives of more than 4,000 soldiers to get rid of Saddam's brutal dictatorship and establish a constitutional and democratic Iraq, which we honor. While the other shares, which is Iran, shares our longest border and has strong cultural, religious, economic, and political ties with us. We cannot and should not ignore that. They are both important to Iraq. Our hope is that both countries tolerate our neutrality. Iraq cannot take sides. We need both sides to be on our side. Our people have suffered too much. The other topic I would like to discuss is Erbil-Baghdad relations, which some of the people watching us online also are expecting to address that issue, because this is also, it's true, an internal matter, but also it will affect Iraq's ability to function as a real state. The new KRG leadership is promising to reset its relations with Baghdad. I believe this is the right path. I believe that Baghdad is an opportunity for Kurdistan, not as a threat. The KRG leadership should also see it that way. Kurdistan's future will be decided in Baghdad, not in Tehran, not in Ankara, not even in Washington. The new government in Baghdad has shown goodwill by allocating and delivering salaries to KRG's public employees, despite the failure of KRG to abide by the 2019 budget law, which requires KRG to sell 250,000 barrels of crude oil per day through Iraq's national oil exporter SOMO. Prime Minister Abdul Mahdi has shown his willingness to resolve this dispute with KRG, and he has given Erbil ample time to arrange those transfers. Now that the referendum's favor has broken, the KRG has the opportunity to reach an agreement with Baghdad based on constitution. The Baghdad-Erbil relationship should change from one of confrontation to one based on cooperation and true partnership. It is time to end the counterproductive tensions, the fruitless lobbying against each other in Washington and elsewhere. The idea that Baghdad falls, Kurdistan will rise, has proven to be dead wrong. Our future is intertwined. We are stronger together. Kurds also had a hand in drafting and played a big role in drafting and negotiating the new constitution, and it is among the most progressive and democratic ones in the Middle East. We should keep it, not destroy it. Finally, it's far from past time to address the other fundamental issues that are responsible for holding back progress in Iraq, such as corruption, unemployment, and lack of opportunities for young people. These are the issues that are becoming priorities for the current parliament, current government, and hopefully the civil society organizations. Last month, Iraq's Integrity Commission published its first 6-month report. According to that report, the commission was able to return over $1 billion to the public coffers after they investigated high-profile individuals, including 5 ministers and 100 general managers. Unfortunately, the KRG, the Kurdistan Regional Government, has not been so successful in countering corruption, despite many promises. It is institutions that are supposed to hold government officials accountable are very weak compared to Baghdad, and are constantly undermined by executive authority, but Baghdad in this regard has shown some progress. As for civil society, I can tell you that we have great individuals who are passionate about democracy, human rights, freedom of speech, but we still do not have the level of civil engagement that can force the government to alter its attitude or work consistently to pressure the government. In this regard, we need Washington and European capitals to continue their support and do even more. Importantly, we need you to change the way you do business with civil society by giving opportunities to the younger generations and high-skilled individuals, not merely relying on the established organizations with whom you have dealt with in the past. As a young MP and a freshman lawmaker, I'm still optimistic about the future of Iraq, but at the same time, I'm worried about it because it is so fragile. In my capacity as an MP, as a member of civil society and Parliament Development Committee, I engage with civil society organizations across the country to build connections between civil society in South and Baghdad with their partners in Kurdistan, not only partnership between government, but also the society level. There are many issues that civil society can address at the national level and bring all of the country's best minds and most passionate organizers will have greater impact than if they are isolated regionally. They can fight for human rights, women's rights, and the rights of children together. They can fight against racism and bigotry together. They can launch anti-corruption campaigns together, and I truly believe that they will have an impact. I'm happy to discuss these issues and many other issues that you will raise with us with Dr. Abbas today. Thank you.